OK, let's turn to the mayoral election now, which is just over 2 weeks away, when Londoners will elect who will lead this city over the next 3 years. We've brought together a panel of undecided voters to put the issues that matter most to them to the candidates from the 4 largest parties. Over the next few days, we'll be hearing from them ahead of the full debate this weekend. First up, meet Christian.
My past is not pretty. I wasn't destined to be a bad man on the streets, but unfortunately, because of where I grew up and my ambitions, that led to me carrying things that I didn't want to carry. It led to me doing things that I didn't want to do that I'm not proud of. My name's Christian Douglas. I'm a community ambassador and I represent young people across South London. The problems that young people are facing right now is personal safety. That is because of knife crime. Many places across our streets today are not safe for young people. Growing up, South London, you're amongst it every day. And I must admit, over the years, it's got worse. And unfortunately, because of the fear, you're getting innocent children who then pick up knives and carry it. I had my community there, I had my church there for me, I had my friends there for me, and most importantly, my family were number one. That helped me overcome the adversity and the troubles that I faced growing up. Politicians need to get out into the communities and speak to the young kids. They need to go into the prisons and the rehabilitation centres and in the youth clubs and speak to these young people. We need to reassure the kids that we're going to invest in them. Are you willing to invest what it really takes to overcome knife crime in London today?
That's one of the biggest areas that Londoners have been failed in. We've had a 60% rise in knife crime. And I remember one of the first acts that Sadiq Khan did as mayor was to take £38 million out of the police staffing budget, which meant we'd have a record low number of police officers on the street. And we've seen now what that's led to. In
the last 5 years, youth violence has gone down, knife crimes for under 25 has gone down, burglary's gone down, moped-enabled crime's gone down, gun crime's gone down, homicide's gone down. I'm not complacent. One bereaved family is one bereaved family too many.
So what are they promising?
I'm going to start by opening 32 youth zones across London and recruiting 4,000 new youth workers as well. And because I want people to understand there's 3 ends. We get the youth safe, we get them in positive places, but also we get the policing right as well. So we're getting 8,000 extra police officers onto the streets and most importantly, getting them to patrol, make sure they don't over-police, but they make London safe.
Sean talked about 32 new youth centres. The cuts to youth centres, we've lost more than 100 under austerity, and I will talk about austerity. In 2015, my party stood alone when all 3 of these other parties were saying the cuts should continue.
We've already invested £70 million in a Young Londoners Fund, more than 300 youth clubs given the funding, more than 110,000 young people given constructive things to do. That's a start. We've got to build on that. So in my second term, my mantra is jobs, jobs, jobs. Every young person to have a mentor and a good quality youth club near them. We need more coaches, more mentors, more role models.
And the Lib Dems?
We need to be investing in our young people. There's no easy way around this. So what I would do as mayor is create a London Youth Service to coordinate after-school activities for young people, make sure that that is joined up across London because it isn't enough at the moment.
And she says community policing is a priority.
We need to return to proper community policing in our capital, so I double the number of dedicated neighbourhoods officers all across London.
Would you also raise council tax, for example, to pay for police officers?
Ultimately, the Met is a multi-billion-pound budget, so it's about priorities.
And the Greens?
We want to invest in transforming London into somewhere that's genuinely healthy as a society, somewhere where young people can genuinely thrive and where we're investing in a society where violence can't thrive.
And they want to see a target of 0 murders within 10 years. But is it really realistic?
I think it's incredibly important to set that as your target, to measure your progress against that. And when you are looking at how you're doing against having no murders at all, what you're achieving is a really preventative approach.
It's an issue that Chris and other Londoners will be watching closely. And you can watch the full programme, A Mayor for London, with the candidates from the 4 largest parties this Sunday at 2:15 on BBC One. Let's also hear from other candidates from UKIP and the Women's Equality Party on what they would do to help reduce violent crime.
So I would create a brand new deputy mayor portfolio specifically to address violence against women, which domestic abuse is a big part of it. That's step number one. I wouldn't put more bobbies on the beat because they are not going to help women who are stuck at home with their abuser. We need to support specialist services. We need to invest in accommodation. And that's the way we will make a change on this issue, which has gotten out of control over the last year.
The priority has to be to protect women and children, especially in London. And so we need far more police. We need police on the beat. We need to reopen police stations, substations in every community. So much crime goes unreported. So many situations arise where we need to make it a serious crime carrying a weapon.
And here is the full list of mayoral candidates. You can also watch interviews with all of them on the BBC London website. Elections take place on the 6th of May.